are we? We're gonna take these off.
Don't take those off. They were in the right spot.
We'll put them back. So these that you've seen me weld, put together. Yeah.
Yeah, those things.
So they're fully welded out. This is what the lower bag mount, the 6 link that we made. It is, what size is this? 1.5 by 1.5 by quarter wall. Figured it would be stiff enough, and these bushings are just standard rubber bushings with round tube.
Tight.
Anyway, lower bag mount. This is the 6 link. So people may ask is how we figured, you know, the length of what we wanted on this thing. We are at, you know, 2 foot center to center, which was really just a nice round number. But it ended up working out because we know our mount's gonna be here, and we know the distance from the bar to the center mount. We knew how long that was gonna be. And we kind of just eyeballed it, measured it, because we know we're gonna have a dog bone on the axle, and you'll see what I mean by that later. So we just kind of went and eyeballed it, in which case we hope we're right.
Yay!
Now if you look, we have markings here. Now this is where we're gonna put our bag mount. Sorry about that. We didn't film us boxing in the frame here. It's pretty self-explanatory. We cut some 1/8 inch piece in there, beveled it a little bit, welded it, ground it smooth and flush so that we could have this use as a bag mount in the rear. Now we talked about it in the previous video, and this is it finished. So anyway, carry on. Here's the bag mount, and here's one of them. So that's where we're gonna put this guy. And the way we figured it is we actually went from center of the mount point here, right, which is going to be on this bar, to the center of the axle, and we figured out that math. And in order for us to get as much lift as we want the bag 2/3 back from the axle, so essentially 1/3 away from the front mounting point. So we just did some math, divided it by thirds, and then here we go. That's where that mount's going to go. It's going to allow us to get more lift off the bag. And I believe we should be just over stock ride height at full lift. The math would be, what would we say? So fully extended, the bag is going to be 11 inches. So times 2/3 of that.
It's like 18 inches.
Yeah, it's going to be like, yeah, that's what we did, like 17.5, 18 inches. So that's going to be our lift, which is pretty substantial. It's going to be further away from the frame. We're not using anything back here for anything, so it's a good place to put the 6 length. And we didn't want it here on this side of the frame because we wanted to make sure we had clearance for the bags, or no bags. We want to make sure we had enough clearance for the tires. So nothing's going to be here on the outside of the frame. Everything's going to be internal. And yeah. So now we're going to mount these brackets. We mark center on the bracket, and we mark the center line here. And you see that's kind of a fat mark.
So fat.
So fat. And I want them to come down 1/4 inch from the top. Just try to get it as high as we can, leave enough material to throw some weld on there. So that's the idea behind that. And I guess we'll start doing that.
Oh yeah.
We've got these cool little magnet angle thingies. Try to help us keep it where we want it. And then for whatever reason, these upper bag mounts came powder coated.
Coated with some sort of
something, and we're gonna weld them. Why would you? Whatever. We're gonna make sure our mark is nice and even here. For whatever reason, this smaller magnet obviously isn't as strong. Alright. So we're on center right now. It's not super crucial because it is kind of a direct science. If we want to get really technical, we can dial this in and put it exactly where we want it, but we're not really worried about that. So yeah, what I meant by that was that I'm not worried about the exact placement on that first bag mount, being close to a 1/16, maybe an 1/8 inch out, as that mark is fairly fat, but the marks are equally fat, so that's what I lined up. And yeah, it's not too crucial on that first bag, but what's really crucial is making sure that second bag mount is in the exact same spot as this first one. Now we're just going to tack this in place. We're going to mount the bag. We have this guy. This is a used bag, an RE7, identical bag that we're going to be using. This helps us keep our height and kind of helps us keep in line with the bottom mounting point, so we can make sure we line that up with the other link on the bottom.
Yes.
Make sure you wear proper PPE, long sleeves, welding hood.
Right.
Here we go.
What are you doing, Johnny? I'm gonna bolt up a bag and stuff.
So there we go. Frame mounts for the 6-link. Bag mount, where the dog bone's gonna go. And then this is all tacked in. Tacked here, opposite end over here. And we only tacked the bar mount. So we wanna make sure that this slides in and out nice and pretty like. And we also want to make sure it stays that way. So we're gonna weld. I just have this piece of hardware that came from a kit that we're not gonna use. It's not grade 8. So we're gonna tack that on to keep our gap. Make sure it's cool all the way. Cut it loose. Grind it nice and fleshy.
One sweep.
And then finish our install. Whoop.
Sir, we're almost out of gas.
No, you're good. Oh, that was hot. Should perform the way we want it to. So now we're gonna copy that to the other side. Bag mount, upper bag mount, remember? On this side, it's mounted this way, right? You see that? I'm gonna measure just the inside of here to the edge of here, because there are a lot of variables, and that's what we want to do. We want to make sure it's the same distance.
Yay.
So 9 3/8. You should always check all your measurements 4,000 times before you weld them. Everything's going to be tacked in place here because we're running out of gas. Just to get everything tacked, and then that way we can get gas like Monday or whatever. When you're welding your brackets on, especially when you're trying to make everything square and triangulated, you want to make sure everything is square and triangulated. Yes?
No.
Tacks are a little big, but make sure that this piece is square with this piece, square with this. Otherwise, what's the point? So I think I'm just gonna weld these on just to get them done, completed. Go hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, comment, and share with your friends. You can also check out our website at garagejunkie.apparel.com. We have all our shirts available for purchase. We'll see you next week.